It's been weeks since Tom Aspinall's showdown with Cyril Gane, yet the MMA world still can't stop debating it. The controversial eye poke that ended one of the most anticipated heavyweight bouts in recent memory continues to divide fans. But now, there's finally an update on Tom Aspinall's recovery and what comes next for the interim champion.
It was really bad how it looks. And he said, you can't train your eyeball to be stronger. It is what it is. You've protection here and here, but he obviously got no protection because the fingers were straight in. The fight should have been stopped. He couldn't see. It was a foul. He couldn't see. Then you can't fight. You know, if he'd have got knocked out with a head kick next, then it would have been worse. I don't know. And then he said, sometimes when your eyes here like that, it can become displaced and stay there. And they did a few tests on that, and they said it doesn't seem like that. And his vision on the eye that's the best eye, his eye wasn't following properly, so the muscles weren't working strong enough to go this way. This one just wasn't working that good at all. So we've got to have additional tests further this week, and Moyes is sorting the tests out for us, and he's got to have a CT scan.
A year and 3 months, 15 months total. Here's Tom Aspinall that has fought them all, that was begging to fight them all, that wanted to fight John Jones, that would have fought Francis Ngannou, that would have fought all of them. Here's Tom Aspinall being called a quitter. Here's Tom Aspinall having his heart questioned, having his integrity questioned. We talked about going into this fight, how obviously after everything that transpired over the past year, it would have been an absolute nightmare if he would have lost, right? The pressure, the Jones talk, all that stuff. Now, this wasn't a loss, but it's the next worst thing, because now his heart has been called into question. His integrity has been called into question. He's being called a coward, a quitter. Why? Because he got poked in the eyes. Why? Because he refused to fight blind. In some fakakta world that we live in, the guy who had a foul inflicted on him is the one getting the heat. Not the one who ended the fight, intentional or not. It's the guy who couldn't continue because he didn't show enough heart, because he was hit with an illegal foul multiple times and refused to continue. Couldn't do it. He's a quitter. He's a coward. He's a duck. Whatever you want to say. Now, I know a lot of this comes from people who, had money on the fight or are Gane fans. I get it. People are emotional. They go online. I'm not trying to put any more stock into any of this. But a lot of this could have been calmed down. A lot of this could have been quieted, could have been subdued if perhaps, I don't know, the face of the company would have gone to the press conference and said, look, that was a great fight. That was a great round. We're going to rebook it right away. But at the end of the day, you can't poke your opponent in the eye multiple times. At the end of the day, you can't do this. You can't do that. You want to block someone at range, close your fists. At the end of the day, Tom Aspinall is a fucking gangster who did everything that we've asked of him. He will live to fight another day, and we stand by him.
According to recent reports, Tom Aspinall's vision still isn't back to normal. His father, Andy Aspinall, shared that while there's been some progress, Tom continues to deal with blurriness and light sensitivity. The healing process hasn't gone as smoothly as they hoped. Doctors confirmed that the cornea suffered serious trauma, an injury that could have led to permanent damage if Tom had tried to continue fighting that night.
There's a lot of talk about, did Tom quit? Did Tom end it too early? Could he have cleared that eye? Was he unable to really see? Could he have gotten through it? This is all true. And we will only know if Tom comes out and tells us. We'll never know how bad or how severe. We'll never know that. That's only ever going to be known by Tom Aspinall. But what we can talk about is that how egregious that eye poke was. And Cyril Gane did that. He ruined the fight by having that terrible eye poke, right? You just have to keep a closed fist. And we've seen it in so many other events. It's really starting to ruin mixed martial arts.
Do you really feel that Aspinall decided not to keep fighting on purpose because he thought that this fight wasn't going to go his way?
Over there, I know. I'm going to. I'm going to get, first and foremost, it was a foul, and Cyril Gane's the one to blame for it. But from the optics and the way that it looked, his eye was closed when he got poked in it. He was saying he couldn't see, and he wasn't even trying to open his eye to see if he could see. Like, obviously, I have no idea. I'm not there, but you see the pictures afterwards, his eye looks fine. I've seen a whole finger go in someone's eye, and they keep fighting, right? So I don't know, but I feel like he might have taken the easier way out. It's a no contest. He had to come back. He gets paid $3 million.
Wait, he still gets paid as if they fought the full fight?
They fought.
They still make their show money and stuff. Yeah.
This notion of intentional versus unintentional is the stupidest shit in sports. Period. You don't hear it anywhere else. Yesterday, I'm watching the New York Knicks against the Miami Heat. Knicks are down like 8 or so. They have the ball. Josh Hart gets called for an offensive foul, illegal screen. Do the referees converge and say, like, did he mean to do that or did he not mean to do that? No, a foul is a foul. Ball goes the other way. Let me ask you a question. Super Bowl, a couple years ago, all-time great game. Eagles, Chiefs, pass interference, end of the game. Do the refs converge and say, did he mean to do it? Did he mean to bump him or not? No, foul is a foul. Foul is a foul, which means a foul is a DQ. That should have been a DQ victory for Tom Aspinall. That should have been a DQ loss for Cyril Gane. And let me be very, very clear right here and now. I don't think Cyril did that on purpose. Why would he have done that on purpose? Why would he have tried to foul his opponent? But it doesn't matter. An illegal maneuver is an illegal maneuver. An illegal foul is an illegal foul, whether you meant to do it or not.
Wouldn't it be interesting if Tom came out and said, no, I'm not going to rematch him. He's a cheater. Why would I rematch a guy that already cheated, that violated not one of my eyes, but both? I gave him his chance. He chose to cheat, and I'm going to move on. If Tom took that stance, which he's not going to do, I'm saying, but for fun, I think he'd have a lot of people that supported him. For some reason, Cyril has come out of this thing with his hands clean. He's the one that did the poking.
And that's exactly where the controversy reignited. This week, Tom Aspinall's close friend and training partner, Ante Delia, competed in another promotion. And coincidentally, he also landed an accidental eye poke on his opponent. But this time, the outcome was different. Instead of stopping, Delia's opponent decided to keep fighting, pushed through the pain, and even went on to win the match. That incident reopened the debate surrounding Tom Aspinall's decision to call off the fight after being poked in the eye by Cyril Gane.
The best part about fouling, right, is that it works. So the best thing you can do is like keep your head in the game, and I'll do everything I can to manage it.
All that training for that. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Trying to be okay, mate.
What is he doing?
The left one was really deep. The left one was really deep.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry,
you got
but
one time before it.
Yeah,
twice before you got one for it. Yeah.
Mike Bisping, he lost his eye. And it's just a horrendous thing to think as a parent, really. And I know what it's like these days with people saying what they want, but if it's just your son and they could lose an eye and their health and they've got children to look after, you know, something needs doing about it. Yeah, it's horrendous for me to look at that.
I'm seeing it all online. Tom quit, Tom quit, Tom quit. It got dicey out there for him and he quit. That's what the people are saying. Complete hogwash, complete nonsense. If you just watch it, you will see that those were two nasty, deep eye pokes. You could say that he lost that first round. I think he lost that first round. I think we all agree that he lost that first round.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you could. I mean, that is fair game. But to suggest that he quit, that he wanted a way out, that he looked for a way out because the going got tough is just something that I'm not going to subscribe to. You know, John Jones is going to weigh in. This is the guy. This is the guy. For the record, John Jones was offered for the millionth time $30 million to fight this man, and he didn't. You can't claim after the fact, this is the guy, but you know he's going to spike the football. And there's a cruel irony involved in the fact that Tom doesn't fight John Jones, but still gets eye poked. But this is tough for him. This is the first time in his career where he's not going to be beloved by people because people are going to accuse him of being a quitter because they're going to say that the going got tough and he asked for a way out. I think that's absolute hogwash. He got poked in both eyes.
I mean, you pretty much covered the whole Dana White saying he didn't want to continue.
Tom didn't want to continue in the fight, so the rematch is very interesting.
It's crazy. It just adds more fuel to the fire of this fucking stupid conspiracy that Chael started, and now you have UFC brass co-signing that. It's so dumb, dude. He's your current heavyweight champ. Now the face of the UFC and one of the biggest voices in the UFC has somehow put the narrative that he's weak and that he quit. You're hurting your brand. The face of the division, the narrative now is that he's a quitter and he didn't want to fight. That's your champ. No matter DQ, no contest, that's your fucking heavyweight champ of the world. He's supposed to be the baddest man on the planet. Now the narrative, for people that don't know shit about MMA, is that he has quit in him. Why would you do that? You represent your fucking business. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. And now some of the casuals are like, I'm not watching him ever fight again. He quits. That hurts your bottom line. And for what? Why not give the number one heavyweight in the world the benefit of the doubt that he couldn't fucking see. They got poked in both fucking eyes and you just go, terrible fucking circumstances. We're going to rematch it as soon as Tom's ready. I can't wait to see it. That's it. You don't push this shitty narrative down the road and sabotage your heavyweight champ.
Now, the controversy has only gotten louder, especially after one of the biggest voices in the UFC started pushing the idea that Tom Aspinall quit. That narrative alone is damaging. We're talking about the face of the heavyweight division, the guy who's supposed to represent dominance, toughness, and pride. But now people are saying he gave up. And that hurts not just Tom's image, but the UFC's brand as well. The logic is baffling. Instead of backing your champion and saying, it was an unfortunate accident, we'll run it back when he's healthy, the conversation turned into questioning his heart. As a result, some casual fans are now calling him a quitter, saying they won't tune in to his fights again. That's a massive blow to the sport's biggest division. But here's the thing, no two eye pokes are the same. Tom didn't just get grazed. He took a double finger poke, knuckle deep, straight into his right eye. He couldn't even open it for minutes. Even weeks later, his vision is still recovering. Comparing that to a minor scratch is absurd. Aspinall's team has stayed mostly quiet through it all, choosing not to feed into the noise, but make no mistake, they've heard every word.
Were you just calling them out as you felt like you wanted to get that shot, or were you calling them out because you were able to continue from the eye poke?
Yeah, it's like that. It's for the Hank to be a champion, and the Hank quick because the poke the eye too, and the third too because the Hank is the training partner, and I do it when Hank like knock him out in the first round. Why is it happening that me and Tom Aspinall fight? Because he say Tom Aspinall, this is the one that does the best training partner. Hank can have it. What happened? Tom Aspinall fighting with Waldo Cortez.
It was a significant eye poke. It wasn't like a little scratch.
Yeah.
It was, they went in. They were proper eye pokes, and Tom clearly was in a lot of pain. There's people saying online, well, he was saying multiple times, I can't see. If he wanted to continue, he shouldn't be saying that. The reality is, if he can't see...
Tell the truth.
If you can't see, you're allowed to say you can't see. People might point at me and say, well, you fought with one eye. Yeah, that was a secret because I shouldn't have been fighting. You know, Tom is the champion of the world. He doesn't want to go out there when his vision is impaired or vision is massively affected and potentially lose a fight that was shaping up to be a difficult fight. Cyril Gane was on point tonight. He was looking good. We saw the damage on Tom's face. This was not an easy fight by any stretch of the imagination. He didn't want to continue with his vision damaged or not being able to see, so I don't blame him. The crowd were upset. I get that. They were frustrated. They've flown in from other countries. They've spent a lot of money. They've bought tickets, and the fight ends like that. I don't think the frustration was on Tom. I think the crowd was just annoyed at the situation.
But I don't know who I'm mad at. Tom did not do anything wrong. Tom was poked in the eye. As a matter of fact, he was poked in both eyes. Now, I don't believe Cyril did that on purpose. So, I also can't or am not mad at Cyril. But I am mad. I'm looking for somebody to blame. But I don't quite know who to blame. Now, before we get to that, okay, there was a pretty interesting fight going on. The story going into this fight is Tom has the power to just go knock him out. We're not saying Tom's a better kickboxer. We get that Cyril did that for many years of his life. We get that Cyril had over 30 professional kickboxing bouts. But Tom, a little younger, a little bigger, shown to have a little bit better power if you just want to look at results, and has the ability to knock him out. However, if Tom tests that and doesn't knock him out, he'll just take him down and beat him up. I mean, this was the belief going in, guys. Tom was a 3.5 to 1 favorite. Tom told everybody that was willing to listen, I shouldn't be a 3.5 to 1 favorite. I don't overly like Cyril Gane, but I recognize how dangerous Cyril Gane is as an opponent, particularly with my style. Tom Canton said, he said, look, all the problems that I give, he has the same problems. I move well on my feet for a heavyweight. I'm strong on my feet for a heavyweight. I'm not afraid to step in and trade for a heavyweight. He does all of those same things. There was one noticeable exception, which is Cyril defensively was better on his feet. Surreal does have the ability to roll from some of that experience he had. And I just bring that to you because that was on display. We had 2 minutes, 33 seconds. But it was on display. I mean, these guys went out and they got to know one another. Tom went for a takedown. He never even attempted another takedown. What does that mean and why? Do we have enough evidence to come to the conclusion that Tom couldn't take him down, or at least that Tom believed he couldn't take him down? It's a guess.
Insiders believe Tom Aspinall's camp is finally losing patience with the quitter narrative, and honestly, who can blame them? This is a fighter who's built his career on saying yes to every challenge, never ducking an opponent, and stepping in on short notice when others wouldn't dare. To see that same man questioned for protecting his eyesight is frustrating, to say the least. What's made it worse is the silence from Dana White. The UFC president hasn't publicly checked on Tom or released any kind of medical update, something that's left both fans and fellow fighters stunned. When your heavyweight champion suffers a serious injury on your biggest stage, people expect leadership and support, not silence. Still, Tom Aspinall's handled everything with composure. No emotional rants, no online wars, just quiet focus. He's back in the gym, training, staying sharp, and by all reports, more motivated than ever. The heavyweight division may be in limbo right now, but when Tom returns, he's coming back with something to prove. Because here's the truth. That eye poke wasn't just bad luck. It could have ended his career. And if anyone still doubts his toughness or questions his heart, they'll get their answer the next time Tom Aspinall walks into the octagon.